Yes, the idea of starting to give people alcohol at 4 p.m., I will not question the wisdom of that decision. So here, what we're going to do is give you a little bit of an insight on some recent work we've been doing focused on health. And the reason why I bring up this New Yorker cover is because what this laid clear was that this is not, healthcare.gov is not an anomaly. It lays bare to a system of procuring government technology that is broken, which is news to approximately none of you in this room. But something you might not have known about is that in the same month that healthcare.gov failed on rollout, is that a benefits management system for 17 states administering food stamps also failed. And for 3 days, clients on EBT could not scan their cards. So as a result of a technology failure, people couldn't buy food. And this is just one in a string of failures that didn't get front page of the newspaper like healthcare.gov, but is one of many technology systems that regulates the government assistance for healthcare, for food, for shelter, for child protective services, and more, when technology fails, so does this collection of policies and services that encompasses the safety net. And in commenting on this failure, the New Yorker, oh my God, I have to walk all the way over here to read it, said, the New York Times said, as a result, the old stereotypes of applicants standing in long lines is quickly being replaced. Now those seeking government assistance are often spending countless hours in front of buggy websites, then getting a busy signal when they try to get through by phone. And so it's not really the failure of the EBT system that's the problem. The problem is that the services and the technologies that we create to administer their system are often the most cumbersome. And as you'll hear, a 50-screen process to apply for food stamps is not considered a problem. And so, this shows one future for health in this country. But there is an alternative future, and we saw a little bit of it last year when we saw a San Francisco fellowship team replace a 2-page impenetrable government document that gets sent to you when you're going to get your food stamps terminated, and replaced it with something as simple as a text message. And so this is obviously fantastic work being done by the San Francisco team, but there's 2 things that are really important about this. One is that inside this app is a culture change that got San Francisco HSA to send its first text message, but also is the learning that dignity and efficiency are actually mutually reinforcing qualities for government technology. So that's why we have gotten together, and in the spirit of beta, I'm showing Alan Williams' logo for our civic health vertical. And what this represents is the fact that the knowledge that we've gotten about working in health and human services is more than the sum of any individual app. It actually represents a perspective that we have about how to fix this problem in a more systemic way. And so that's why I'm happy to kind of share with all of you that this year, our Long Beach team has been getting the benefit of subject matter expertise. We have gotten a rapid prototyping team, although I think they don't like calling themselves that. And also work dedicated on data standards that are starting to fix these problems focused on civic health. And if you're wondering what civic health is, it's basically our beta-like hack to include public health and human services in the same focus. And so really what I want to show you today is that what we're testing currently is a pipeline for products that help to start solve these needs. You're going to hear about 2 of them today. And the next thing that we're testing is how we're going to build out that first component of search, finding out what ideas work. And typically, as you heard today, a lot of the applications that you see are being developed are done so with a single city or a single county or a single government in mind. What we want to do is we want to engage a broad spectrum of practitioners in this space as we start thinking about what we should build. And what a change of pace for a county health supervisor to put an idea about a pain point they have and a piece of technology that they can solve it, and all of a sudden a rapid prototyping team can say, wow, this is sufficiently compelling, we want to prototype this? Would it change a pace in the way that technology can start solving these problems? So what I'm going to quickly get to is Dave Guarino, part of our rapid prototyping team, and Jason Lally from the SF Mayor's Office. We're going to tell you about 2 of the active prototypes that we have ongoing in the vertical.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, so my name's Dave. I have the more traditional slides. I'm going to talk about a little project called CalFresh and So Clean. CalFresh is the food stamp program in California, and I was a 2013 fellow last year. And I, along with Jake Solomon, Alan Williams, we've been doing a little work in Health Vertical, specifically on this project, in the last couple months. It's just one of the things that we've talked about. And the way it came about is that, like Jack mentioned, Jake was a part of the San Francisco fellowship team last year that developed this app that texts you if you're going to get disenrolled from food stamps. And as part of that process of researching the food stamp program called CalFresh, he actually went through last year and applied to the program himself. And what he found was that it is 50 plus screens, 200 plus questions, just one of which, Jen mentioned the burial plot, but my favorite is, have you or any member of your household been found guilty of trading SNAP benefits for guns, ammunition, or explosives after September 22nd, 1996? Before is totally kosher. So these 200 plus questions are actually a barrier to people getting enrolled in this program. These are people who are making very little money, who disproportionately, as you might imagine, have very low educational attainment on average. When you go through and do this process, and actually, if you go to tiny.cc/CalFresh, Jake has put together a full annotation walking through every step of those 50 plus screens. So I recommend you do this. Once you do that, you see this is a clear barrier. So what Jake did, in the spirit of the way we've been working in this kind of health vertical, is he had an idea. He said, look, I have an idea because based on my research, only 4 fields are actually required to constitute a valid application for food stamps. 4, under state law. It is name, address, signature, and date. And he said, let's say screw it. Let's not try to integrate or fix this broken technology, and instead, let's just build a form that fills out the damn PDF with those 4 fields and then faxes it to the agency. And he put it in this ideas repo, and this is the Health Project Ideas repository on GitHub, on Code for America's GitHub. I recommend you go there, and if you have an idea in the health space, you put something there. Because I saw this and said, hey Jake, good idea, let's build that. So what we did is I took 2 days, drank a lot of coffee, listened to a bunch of hot snakes, and then produced this. So in 2 days, we built a prototype that is just that. It's 4 fields. You actually, if you see, you can actually draw your signature with a mouse, or if you're on mobile, you can just draw it with your finger. And on the back end, all it does is make a PDF and faxes it to San Francisco HSA. We brought this to the Human Services Agency, and what we found out from them was amazing. They said, we thought, oh my God, this is going to create a lot more paperwork. This might be adversarial. They said, this is great. They said the online system doesn't save us much back-end time relative to a faxed application, and if we can minimize the burden for clients, let's do it. So kudos to San Francisco HSA, by the way, for being forward-thinking on this. The other thing we learned by doing this is they said, and by having collaborative partnership with them, is they said, actually, if you add 2 more fields, we can take the social security number and date of birth, we can take the processing time down from about like a week or 2 to like a day. Literally, we can maybe schedule an interview the next day. You don't need 200 plus questions. But the fact that we showed up and we had something and said, hey, this works, and we actually had the head of CalFresh fax an application to his fax machine, really hit it home. So we're really excited about this project. You can go to our GitHub repository, Dagwar, CalFresh, and So Clean, it's right there. And you can follow it, watch it. We have 1 person who's actually gone live through our system. We started with 1. We have that one person through, and we think that this has the scope for a lot of impact, both because it's deep impact in terms of literally getting people food who don't have it, but also because we think this process of saying we're going to skirt the integration with your legacy god-awful enterprise IT system and just use the door you have available of like a fax machine or an email address, that this is a pattern that could be applicable to applying to a lot of programs. So I'm really excited. Jake and Alan are very excited, and do some good.
Thank you, Dave. That's awesome work. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some work we're doing around open referral. We want to create and solve for a problem in the social services sector in San Francisco, but it's also a problem that is faced nationally, probably even internationally, just making an assumption. And that is one of frustration, agony, defeat. Frustration felt across the social services ecosystem. So many of you in here have maybe either touched social services directly or indirectly through family members or loved ones or friends. But it's the social safety net. It's the thing that keeps our society together. The people, whether they're accessing food, mental health care, all the kinds of things that we really need to provide to our citizens and residents. Navigating that system can be incredibly frustrating. If you're a seeker of help, you have to figure out what services actually serve you, how to access them, whether you're eligible for them. If you're a social worker, you have to help that person figure out what services they're eligible for, et cetera. If you're a city employee and you're collecting data and you're granting money to these organizations, you want to track if they're performing, are they serving their clients? There's an incredible amount of data and need here. And what we found over and over again at our office, the Office of Civic Innovation in San Francisco, was people coming to us asking for data about social services in San Francisco. And what we would turn around and say, we don't have a comprehensive system of all this data. We have PDFs, and we have Word documents, and we have Excel spreadsheets, and we have Access databases, but we don't have anything comprehensive. So many, many months ago, we decided to do some discovery work and figure out, can we actually help solve this problem? We found that our city contracts at the tune of about $500 million, $500 million with social services organizations and nonprofits. About 26% of nonprofits in San Francisco touch the city in some way through that contracting mechanism. So a lot of data moves through our city through that way. Not to mention that those that we don't directly contract with, we probably interact with in some way or another. Also, our city is a direct provider of social services. So we touch this ecosystem in a very big way. We want to do something about it. So enter Ohana. Ohana and open referral. Ohana came out of a fellowship project done last year in San Mateo County, and they solved a very similar problem on a smaller level maybe, but basically we're getting all the social services information up online, digital, friendly, accessible. We're focused less right now as a city on the front end experience because there's lots of people figuring out how to display this information. What we found is that it's about getting the data into a database, keeping that data up to date, and lowering the duplication of effort that happens across the social services ecosystem. So we're really focused on this back-end experience. And right now we're working with our local brigade, with a team that the Ohana team has continued working on this product. We're working with them to improve this experience, this data entry experience, because this is the thing that really matters at the end of the day for us, is getting this data out to the people that can use it. This is the problem that we really, really, really need to solve for, because there's lots of great examples, LinkSF, 1Degree, et cetera, all these front-end experiences that are trying to help people access this data are out there. Behind this input interface is a whole data standard movement, open referral. Suggest you go to openreferral.org, check it out, get engaged, but basically we're creating the standard fields that will describe social services in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and hopefully beyond. So this is a national movement that we're hoping to really get kick-started. Oh. And finally, what we're testing here at the city is a blue screen. So what we're testing here, I don't really need the image. What we're testing here is not just the application, not Ohana, not open referral, but broadly new ways of engaging. We're working with our local brigade here in San Francisco. So we're transforming data. We're taking PDFs and Excel spreadsheets, and we're creating patterns that we hope we can replicate in other cities to take these really scary data sets and turn them into something a lot nicer and cleaner, load that into a database, and then develop something nice, and do this in quick iterations. We're going to do that at the city around a geographic area, most likely, in the Tenderloin Market Street mid-market area to start, working with a couple of agencies around that. Just to test, to see if we can get this to work. If we can collect the data, put it in one place, publish it, make it work. Hopefully, we'll get that done by the fall, and we'll have something to show. We've already got a lot of data that's been loaded, transformed, and we're very, very excited to be doing this and piloting this in San Francisco, and we really want this to scale. So your feedback, your help, your insights are all appreciated. Thank you.
Awesome. So just two final points I'll make about this is that we want you guys to get engaged. We need your help to spread the community of practice that we have on this GitHub repository. Dave has actually made, for those who are probably intimidated by GitHub, aka government staff, I've been spending the last few weeks getting government staff acquainted with this. We made a 5-minute video to show how people can get on GitHub. Dave made it. It's bookended by hot snakes, of course. And the two other points that I'll make, and this is really not me even vamping, so we can wait for the Long Beach Fellow slides to get up, is two things. One is when you make it, so for instance, for Dave's example of Cal Fresh So Clean, which is obviously modeled after an Outkast song, is two things. Is that when you make it, when you lower the barriers and the rigidities to getting people on services, it allows for different parts of government to help get people on those services. So for instance, Jake and Alan went on a tour of a prison where they realized that on re-entry, all prisoners get is a direction to go to an office to sign up for CalFresh. And now, what they can do with this simple form is get enrolled in benefits at the point of release. And it's shown that recidivism is most lowered by getting people on benefits early. And so by making this process simpler for the client in the office, is also solving systemic problems that are happening from criminal reentry and recidivism. The second piece that I'll add on to what Jason said is the importance of this as a pilot, where what we want to see is a regional database of available social services. And we're testing this not only in the Bay Area, but also in DC. It's being led by Greg Bloom and the Ohana team. So with that, thank you guys so much, and be healthy.
So the Easter egg.